Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. Good evening. Today is the 20th of July and as I see to do quite a lot at the moment, I'm driving around Winchester in the early evening. In this case I've just been filming some old Skodas in the area, a video that you've probably already seen on the channel by this stage, because most of you aren't yet channel members, and so you will see this video some point in August, whereas if you are a channel member on the Toledo tier and above, you get to see these videos on the day that they're recorded or thereabouts. So the topic for today's rambling, not very interesting and very vague vlog is actually the cars that I would like to film on the channel. As Mr. Manning from the Matty's Cars YouTube channel and I were discussing just the other day, and he's just done a 1992 Mark III Cavalier SRI. Most of the cars that you see on our channels are ones that we're offered to film. It's actually quite seldom that I can just sort of pick what I want. Sometimes I can. In certain groups, like the Soul Classics Facebook group, for example, if somebody puts a car on there, generally the older sort of Korean and Malaysian cars, then I can sometimes just ask, okay, can I film your car? Find out where they're based and go and work it out and go and do it. But very often, most of the stuff you see on my channel is just somebody literally writing to me via email. You would have seen the email address within the first few seconds of the video, and just offering me their car for review. And that's why I'm so keen for you to write in if you have something. Now it's easier for me to film something with a nominal value of less than £5,000. What do I mean by that? I mean, can you buy an example of this car with an MOT in good condition for under £5,000, which goes for both sensible second-hand classics and sensible second-hand reviews? Obviously with no budget reviews, it's the same basic thing, but it's under £1,000. So for example, Mr. Coleman's Jeep Cherokee, it's a 97, I did that on sensible second-hand classics, I filmed that back in May, although the video was released in June. That car is worth way more than £5,000, much more than £5,000. However, because I did find one actually that was £5,000 or thereabouts, about a very weak, with an MOT, which needed reasonable condition, that's the qualification. That's all it is. I was very blessed once to actually be doing a job for a client, and her budget was about £5,000, and I found this lovely Mazda 2 that she's very happy with, by the way, which is, you know, wonderful for somebody like me. And I was able, within a couple of days of sourcing the car, to go back and film it, and you would have seen that back in March, and it was a real blessing, that. But generally it's you know, there's not too many things I don't film. Sometimes obviously it's a forbidden fuel one, and there's very few circumstances that we can film those under, you know, if at all. The green Mazda 2, like the one that I saw, just went by. Interesting. There's very few instances we can film forbidden fuel cars, and very few, unfortunately. But sometimes cars have things like Prince engines, or I just can't recommend them because they're too sort of unreliable or something. But generally, like a lot of stuff, I will film. One of the most unusual ones was a Citroen C4 Cactus. I didn't expect to be filming something like that, but I did. Thank you to Mr. Watterson, Scottish Grand Enthusiast Trains TV, for offering that to me. And sometimes there's instances like the Fiat T-Post Saloon, or the Fiat 124 Spider, which I do on contingency reviews. I have to use my discretion as to whether or not I can get away with that. but that is fine. So generally that's maximum I go under, but also with True Jacket Reviews sometimes we will be resurrecting that, and I have I think 3 cars lined up to do for that already. It's predicted to do too many of them because they cost a fortune in comparison with everything else. But we, you know, the Vauxhall Chevette HSR was a classic example of that. Someone saw one of my videos and asked if I wanted to film it, and we did it on True Jacket Reviews because this Chevette HSR absolutely deserves to be on True Jacket Reviews. There's no ambiguity with that whatsoever. So I have a list of cars, quite a long one, that I would prefer. I mean, we've got things like a Triumph Acclaim. I just missed out on an Acclaim actually, which was a shame. Volvo 360, Volvo 440, and you know, the list sort of goes on. About Volvo 480, I think I'm close to getting a 480 on my channel, but it hasn't quite materialised yet. I have sort of been offered one, but I haven't been able to arrange a date to go and film that yet. More of the older kind of Hyundais and Kias and things like that. I really want to do a very early Hyundai Sonata, for example. And you know, it's just where it sort of goes on. I think a Montego I'm supposed to be doing at some point, but it just kind of does depend on where the car is, and also depends on what I'm doing, because obviously the fuel prices have marginally softened a little bit now. They're still very high though, and so yeah, it just kind of depends on what my schedule is, and you know, just putting itinerary together. But you know, I'd like to generally get around things if I can. Sometimes I can't because it just doesn't justify filming one car that's 300 miles away. I just can't justify that. But please do keep your suggestions coming in. See the email address at the beginning of the video. I'll put it down below as well. And yeah, I look forward to, you know, getting loads more offers of cars. I think we've come across another Skoda. Oh yes, excellent news. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below. And yes, we'll see you again soon for more incredibly vague and not very interesting vlogs.